New Saudi Arabian King Salman faces some delicate decisions with respect to world diplomacy when it comes to human rights. The country has already had to deal with world outrage in the case of Raif Badawi, who received a sentence of 1,000 lashes and 10 years in prison for simply criticizing some of the country's religious leaders. That sentence is now on hold after delivery of only 50 lashes and an outcry from the non-Muslim world. As if the new king didn't have troubles enough trying to present a moderate face of his government to the world, another man, not yet named, has renounced his Muslim faith by filming himself tearing up a copy of the Quran and hitting it with a shoe, which in the Middle East is considered an extreme expression of disrespect. Strict adherents to Sharia law believe that the only correct punishment for any of these acts is death, and so has been the ruling thus far of the Saudi courts, which in Saudi law fall under jurisdiction of Sunni Muslim clergy. In other cases, such as the one involving 1,000 lashes, these kinds of harsh sentences have been quietly lessened after some time has passed. Given the nature of the evidence in this case, however, the king will have a difficult time satisfying both its clerics as well as the international community. This may serve as an important test as to how far the country can go in moderating its attitudes towards free speech. A growing concern among European Jews is the sense that anti-Semitism is not only on the rise, but is likely to result in further violence against them. Some statistics support this, such as an increase in crimes against German Jews rising from 788 cases to 1,076 in just 1 year between 2013 and 2014. After the Charlie Hebdo attack in France and other attacks in Denmark, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu invited European Jews to migrate to Israel for their own safety. And, as if to counter that invitation, several European leaders have made their own announcements to assure their Jewish citizens that they remain safe. Meanwhile, German Jewish leader Josef Schuster has advised Jews to take precautions against identifying themselves as Jews while in public. One specific suggestion he gave was to avoid wearing the traditional Jewish skullcap, also known as a kippah or yarmulke, when in public, particularly in areas where Muslims are likely to be. Other suggestions involved removing information on various forms of mail that would identify the recipient as Jewish. To illustrate the reality of the problem, a French journalist filmed himself walking through Parisian streets for 10 hours wearing a skullcap and recording taunts, gestures, and faces made behind his back as he passed. It's good to work for a cause with selfless intentions, but Mother Teresa's work had an ulterior motive, which was to convert the person who was being served to Christianity. This proclamation was made by Mohan Bhagwat, chief of India's National Volunteer Corps, the RSS, which espouses Hindu nationalism and is closely aligned with the ruling party known as BJP. The statement, which many Westerners would simply shrug it off as ad oculos, or obvious to anyone who sees it, was seen as so derogatory and inflammatory that the entire upper parliament adjourned as opposition leaders rose up to condemn the condemnation. One member of parliament named P. Rajiv, who belongs to the Marxist Communist Party of India, said, "First they're trying to de-iconize Mahatma Gandhi, now they're trying to de-iconize Mother Teresa." The first reference denoted comments by a lawmaker from the BJP that described a Hindu nationalist that assassinated Gandhi as a patriot. The Indian press was filled for days after with statements issued in condemnation of the observation that missionaries have a mission, some coming from the Catholic Church and others from opposition parties and their representatives.